जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर वनचारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय, जय गौरनिताय। जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ, जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा। जय किशोर किशोरी किशोर किशोरी, किशोर किशोरी जय किशोर किशोरी। जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय गुरुदेव 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 गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। जयम विष्णुपद परम परविचकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद श्रीधर चंद्रान भक्ति विरांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री ठाकुर हरिदास की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा देवी की जय। यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी रानी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। इस्कॉन बीवीथी संस्थापक आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गौ प्रेमानंदे। All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishne Swadhamopagate Dhanamajnanadibhis saha Kalau nashtadrisham esha Puranarko dhunodita. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 9, Chapter 6, entitled The Downfall of Saubhari Muni. Today we'll resume with text number 8. And can I go further than this?
9.
Oh, it's 9. Only 2. All right. All right. Well, there's no purport on 9. And in fact, there's no purports until text 26 as well. But I guess that's the next speaker's problem. So we'll begin with text number 8, which is on the board. Shesham Nivedayam Asa Pitre Tena Cha Tadguruho Choditaha Prokshanaya Aha Dushtam Etat Akarmakam Shesham Nivedayam Asa Pitre tena cha tadguruhu choditaha prokshinayatha dushtam etadakarnamakam shesham nivedayam asa Pitre tena cha tadguruhu choditaha prokshinayaha dushtam etadakarnamakam shesham nivedayam asa Pitre tena cha tadguruhu choditaha prokshinayaha dushtam etadakarnamanam. Okay. Shesham nivedayam asa tadguruhu prokshinayaha dushtam etadakarnamakam Shesham, the remnants. Nivedayam asa, he offered. Pitre, to his father. Tena, by him. Cha, also. Tatguruhu, their priest, or spiritual master. Choditaha, being requested. Prokshanaya, for purifying. Aha, said. Dushtam, polluted. Etat, all this flesh. Akarnamakam, not fit to be used for offering in Shraddha. Translation. Vikukshi offered the remnants of the flesh to King Ikshvaku, who gave it to Vasishtha for purification. But Vasishtha could immediately understand that part of the flesh had already been taken by Vikukshi, and therefore he said that it was unfit to be used in the Shraddha ceremony. Please repeat. Vikukshi offered the remnants of the flesh to King Ikshvaku, who gave it to Vasishtha for purification. But Vasishtha could immediately understand that part of the flesh had already been taken by Vikukshi, and therefore he said that it was unfit to be used in the Shraddha ceremony. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. That which is meant to be offered in yajna cannot be tasted by anyone before being offered to the deity. In our temples, this regulation is in effect. One cannot eat food from the kitchen unless it is offered to the deity. If something is taken before being offered to the deity, the entire preparation is polluted and can no longer be offered. Those engaged in deity worship must know this very well, so that they may be saved from committing offenses in deity worship. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shesham Nivedayam Asa Pitre Tena Chatat Guruhu Choditaha Prokshanayaha Drushtam Etad Karmanam Karmakam should be. Vikukshi offered the remnants of the flesh to King Ikshvaku, who gave it to Vashishta for purification. But Vashishta could immediately understand that part of the flesh had already been taken by Vikukshi, and therefore he said that it was unfit to be used in the Shraddha ceremony. There is not much commentary here, even by predecessor acharyas, and Srila Prabhupada's purport is very short. But Viraraghava writes, Sheshasva bhuktavashishtam mamsam sapitre nivedayamasa sa tatastena pitra ikshvakuna choditaha prokshanaya prokshanena mamsam sankuru ityadishtas tasya ikshvakur gurur vashishta aha etan mamsam dushtad uchcheshana dosha dushtam ato akarmakam shraddharhanam shraddhanarham ityaha. That means that he had already, Shesha here means, what does Shesha mean? Anybody know this word? Shesh. Huh? What is left? Of course we say Shesha, Ananta Shesh. Why do we say that? Shesha. Should be Ashesha. Ananta Shesh. It's contradictory. He is Ananta, but he's Shesh. Anyway, Shesha means what is left over in this context, and particularly means the remnants. The remnants of whom? Huh? Can't hear you. Vikukshi's remnants. So he gave what he had already taken, something from this, whatever he had brought, whatever animals he had killed for the sacrifice. He was hungry, he ate something, and then he brought the same thing and gave it to his father, who gave it to Vishishta. But Vishishta knew. How did Vishishta know? How did his father know? Maybe he told him, maybe he didn't, we don't know. Anyway, Vishishta could immediately understand that part of it had already taken by Vikukshi, therefore he said the whole thing was unfit. Choditaha prokshanaya. Prokshana means to consecrate something, to prepare it for offering. Sometimes when we make an offering, not sometimes, all the time, in the temple when we make an offering, we take some amount of Ganga Jal in the conch shell and we sprinkle on each and every preparation. That's called prokshana. So he had given this mamsa for that purpose. You wouldn't think that you could purify mamsa, meat, but when it is used in ritual sacrifice, then it is completely offerable, if done according to the Vedic injunctions. Of course, we read yesterday, in the Kali Yuga, we don't do this. And Vaishnavas never do this anyway. This is non-Vaishnava ritual, it would seem. But at any rate, prokshanaya, he gave it to him with the instructions that this should be purified. But Guru Vashishta, Sridhar Swami, and other acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also, they identified Tad Guru, who here means Vishishta Muni. He was either the guru or the priest. So he said, Dushtam etara karmakam. What does a karmakam mean? A karmaka we usually think of in terms of verbs. There are sakarmaka verbs and akarmaka verbs. But this akarmaka means it's unfit. This is what Viraraghava has explained here. Akarmaka means shraddhanarham. It's anarham, unfit for offering, because it had already been taken. And now, Srila Prabhupada in his purport, he points out that which is offered in yajna cannot be tasted by anyone before being offered to the deity. So we've switched from a purely ritual sacrifice, now we're talking about deity worship. Because after all, when did this pastime occur? When was Ikshvaku king? Long, long time ago. Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita, I mentioned yesterday also. Yes, that's right. In the beginning of Treta Yuga, very beginning of Treta Yuga, Ikshvaku. Ikshvaku is famous as the founder of which Kshatriya dynasty? That's right, the solar dynasty, in which so many august kings appeared. Who are some of them? Bharata, Dilip, Mandhata, Ramchandra also. So many great kings. So Ikshvaku was maybe concerned about this, that in my line we've never done anything like this. So he was the son of whom, Ikshvaku? We mentioned a couple of days ago. Vivaswan, therefore he's called, and his father was Vaivasvata Manu. So Ikshvaku was a great personality, so he was very concerned about this sacrifice, because it would seem either it was the very end of Satya Yuga or it was the beginning of Treta Yuga. Would seem it's in the Treta Yuga because they're concerned about sacrifices. So, Kriteya Dhyayatom Vishnum Tretayam Yajato Makhai. In Treta Yuga we offer sacrifices in the fire using ghee and purified ingredients, which is what he would have expected of Vishishta and Ikshvaku as well, for that matter. So they were very concerned about performing pure sacrifice, and therefore they had to follow all the rules. Our acharyas also emphasize this principle when they say, for example, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpataiva Kalpate. That so-called devotional service, exclusive devotional service, presumably exclusive devotional service, but if it's not rendered in terms of the Shastric injunctions, and he explicates here, it's Shastric injunction means not only the Shruti, but even the Smriti, then that so-called pure devotional service actually becomes a useless disturbance in society. More than useless, it becomes a disturbance. So this is an important principle. This is how it translates into our context. But back in the Treta Yuga, they were concerned not so much with Harinam Sankirtana, and not yet concerned with deity worship as well, and no longer concerned with just meditation, but they were concerned with sacrifice, this kind of homa, yajna, fire sacrifice. So in those sacrifices, the rules are very strict. You have to follow them. Therefore, it was a great offense, actually. This would seem to be the case. It's not explained. There's no commentary on the next several verses. But it would seem as if Ikshvaku was very maybe embarrassed by what his son had done, because he gave him something that he had already eaten, as if it could be offered in the sacrifice. Certainly back in the Treta Yuga, we wouldn't think that someone would make such a blunder, but he did, and we described that already. The other day, Viragavacharya explained, apasmriti, the word apasmriti was used, and he said that means vivekarahita, he lost his discrimination due to what? One of these 6 waves of material conditional existence. Anybody remember what they are? Hunger, thirst, grief, decay, death, like this. So he was bewildered. Illusion is the other one. So he became bewildered. And we all become bewildered. So thank God it's Kali Yuga, because actually we cannot perform these sacrifices. We can hardly even follow very basic rules and regulations. But the Shastra has given us a special dispensation in this age if we just try to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, in all seriousness, under the directions of the bona fide spiritual master, then the same effect that we could have gained in the Satya Yuga by meditation, the same effect that they hope to gain in this sacrifice through yajna, homas, and the same effect that was affected through deity worship, elaborate deity worship in the Dwapar Yuga, we can get the same thing in Kali Yuga. Kaler tad hari kirtanat. So, Dwapari paricharyam kaler tad kalau tad hari kirtanat. So, kalau sankirtya keshavam, Jiva Goswami writes that in this day and age, the sacrifice is sankirtanam. So then why is Prabhupada talking about deity worship? What is of all the things that he could have mentioned here, since he's not talking about fire sacrifice, why did he choose to talk about deity worship? Anybody have any ideas about this? Because the rules in deity worship are very similar. Prokshana has to be performed in deity worship, I mentioned already. It also has to be performed in the Vedic sacrifice. So it's analogous, it's transferable logically to our context. And Prabhupada mentions one cannot eat anything from the kitchen unless it is offered to the deity. Sometimes people break these rules, but that becomes an offense. So Prabhupada is hoping that we can become saved from committing offenses. In fact, one of the main concerns that he expressed in 1977, before he left this world, was that we would start concocting all sorts of new things in the name of deity worship that are unauthorized and probably offensive. He was worried about this. So he told us just to maintain whatever I've given, don't change it. So that's one thing. Now, another thing we can say here is that The process of yajna we've mentioned already is Harinama Sankirtan in this age. So why are we doing deity worship at all? This is the next question. Who has an answer? Well, why do we do deity worship if the only real benefit in Kali Yuga is from chanting the holy name? It brings regulation, that's one thing. Anything else? Huh. It sanctifies your home. That's true. What else? Okay, we're being given experiential anecdotes now. Is there any reason that we know from the Shastra that explains? Very good. It's a means to a personal relationship, and you're going to say? The 6 Goswamis instructed it. All these are correct answers. What I had in mind is that everything in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, everything that was set up as a part of our daily ritual practices by Srila Prabhupada is actually intended to bring us to this point of purely chanting the holy name. And so deity worship is also very necessary, just to chant the holy name. It's described that although we have as our main process in Kali Yuga the performance of Vishnu Sankirtanam, but we can hardly even perform that Sankirtan because our minds are so scrambled and our lives are so chaotic and our habits are so unclean. We're hardly civilized in many ways. So deity worship is recommended in order to purify us so that we can chant the holy name in exactly the same way that we're still doing sacrifices as well. We offer fire sacrifices as well, even though this was the main practice of a previous age. But we're still doing it now for the same purpose. We're following all the rules and regulations of the Shastras as best as we can without depending on that performance, as I said yesterday, in order to assist us in coming to the point of being able to purely chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because that's really the only thing that works in this age. So that's another reason that deity worship is important and why Srila Prabhupada might want to talk about this in his purport. So, another thing we can note here is, as we know, well, let's just read on because this is the next point I wanted to make anyway. Gyatva putrasya tat karma guruna pihitam nripaha deshan nissarayam asa sutam chakta vidhim vrusha. That means, when King Ikshvaku, thus informed by Vasishta, so see, he didn't know. Vasishta, how did Vasishta know? Did Vikukshi tell him that I ate some of this already? Obviously, he didn't tell his father. So how did Vasishta know? That's right. That's right. We see practically, even Srila Prabhupada had this ability, that if somebody did something wrong, Srila Prabhupada immediately knew it. Immediately. You have only to read some of Shruti Kirti Prabhu's diaries to find how many times this happened to him. He would do something. Well, for example, I'll give one story. He was in New Dwarka as Srila Prabhupada's servant, and when you were Prabhupada's servant, it was understood you do not leave Prabhupada's presence at any time for any reason. This is what servant means. You have to always be there. And Prabhupada made that clear to Shruti Kirti as well. So many days, he's sitting there during the Mangalarti, just sitting outside of Prabhupada's door, and Prabhupada never called him, nothing. So finally one day he's thinking, I really would love to go to Mangalarati and dance in front of the deity with all my god brothers. So then he thought, no, I better not, because I'm supposed to stay here. So, but again, many days, Prabhupada never called him. So finally one day he said, okay, I'm going to go. He won't notice. It'll be okay. So he went to Mangalarati, and when he came back from Mangalarati, Srila Prabhupada buzzed his buzzer and called him in and said, where did you go? Prabhupada was angry at him. He said, I told you, your only duty is to sit here with me. That is your service. You have nothing to benefit from anything else. This is your responsibility. Somehow he knew. Many devotees have also. Here's one that's not in any books. My godbrother told me this, Arjun Prabhu. He was in New York. And because Srila Prabhupada was so awesome, devotees were just fascinated by anything that he would do. So Arjun was sitting outside of Prabhupada's door, and it was a little bit like that, who is it, King Indrajumna, when he heard all these noises going on behind the door, where the Vishwakarma in the form of an old Brahmin was carving Jagannath. He just wanted to see what was happening on the other side. So Arjuna, the doorway to Prabhupada's room in New York at that time had one of those keyholes that is a little bit shaped like that. You can see through it, no? Like an Indian door. So he just kind of crouched down and he was peeking through this hole, trying to look and see what Prabhupada was doing. So he had a perfect view of Srila Prabhupada's profile as Prabhupada was sitting at his desk working. But he said that as soon as he was peeking through that door, as soon as he got a good view of Srila Prabhupada immediately, very slowly, turned his head and looked straight at him through the keyhole. And he said he nearly had a cardiac arrest. And he never tried anything like that again. So yeah, it's pure devotees do have these kinds of abilities, and even great sages, and like Vashishta Muni it would seem from this narration, he had that power. So he knew what Vikukshi had done. And when he told Ikshvaku, Vikukshi's father, certainly Ikshvaku must have felt the way that pretty much every parent feels when a respected superior comes and says something like this about their child. He must have been embarrassed, and certainly it says here explicitly he was angry. Rusha, the word is used. Sutam tyakta vidhim rusha. And desham nisaryam asa. He actually kicked him out of the kingdom. Now that seems a pretty extreme reaction, doesn't it? Ordinary offense, it's hard to understand, but we do know about these Vedic sacrifices that they were very costly. And maybe that's why he was so angry that he would banish his son. Maybe it was a matter of family prestige. Even nowadays in India, they kill people in the same family if they don't keep up the family honor. This is a problem, more in Pakistan, less in India, but these things also go on. So it's hard to say. I'm not going to speculate on just exactly why he was so angry that he would kick his boy out, but evidently he was allowed to come back later on, because he later on became the king. That's when he was known as Shashada. We mentioned this the other day, the rabbit-eating king. So this is all that we have for today. There's no purport, as I said, to text 9. But one thing we can think about from this, one thing we can get from this is that just as Ikshvaku, and maybe Vashishta as well, were so concerned that the sacrifice be performed correctly, means purely, not dushtam. Dushtam means polluted or ruined. Just as they were concerned that they perform this fire sacrifice correctly and according to the procedure, yatha vidhi. So in the same way, we should In the same way that Prabhupada makes the analogy to deity worship, which we still perform, we should also consider that this same degree of concern should be ours when it comes to how to properly chant the holy name. Because we do have vidhis, we do have injunctions that should govern our chanting of the holy name. What are they? The 10 offenses. That's the main thing from Padma Purana. 10 offenses. We have to watch out for that. So we know those 10 offenses. We want to avoid criticizing, unnecessarily or idly criticizing sadhus or Vaishnavas. And we want to, the second offense, what is the second offense? No, that's the third offense. No? Yes? It's a good idea to recite these offenses every day. In many temples they do this. In New Dwarka they do it. Otherwise, we forget what they are. And if we forget what they are, then how do we remain vigilant to not commit them, you see? Srila Prabhupada's purport today, he's pointing out that we should be vigilant about committing offenses in deity worship. Similarly, we should certainly be vigilant about committing offenses to the holy name. There are primarily 3 kinds of offenses. Vaishnava aparad, including Guru aparad. And there's Seva aparad, that's deity worship offenses. Nam aparad. Primarily, these are the things we have to worry about. When we visit the Dham, there's also Dham aparad. So second offense is and it also means to consider the demigods to be independent of the holy name or equal to the holy name. We consider the holy name to be equal to the demigods or to consider the demigods to be equal to the holy name. Those are both offenses. And to consider the demigods to be independent of the holy name is also an offense. So that's the second offense. Third offense you mentioned already, to neglect the order of the spiritual master. You know, for any amount of time, especially for 4 decades, to neglect the order of the spiritual master is pretty much unexcusable. Fifth offense, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna as imagination. Sixth offense is to give some mundane interpretation on the holy name. Seventh offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting. People do this all the time, Srila Prabhupada used to say. Like this, there are 10 offenses. So this is something we can consider. Not only that, but there are certain vidhis regarding chanting the holy name that we can also follow. Less important vidhis, perhaps, but very helpful. If we chant early in the morning, it's better. If we chant together with devotees, it's also better. We should chant clearly, audibly, not just in the mind like some people do, in this way. So, if an offense was important enough that Ikshwaku threw his own son out of the kingdom, then we have to consider what we're doing now. Even though it's Kali Yuga, we have some special dispensation, but we also have to try to perfect our practice as much as possible. Anybody have any questions or any comments on any of this? Yes, Giridhari Prabhu.
Trying to understand the concept or the importance of the Yuga Dharma. Just kind of, I'll try to share some thoughts that maybe you can clear up. I don't understand if it's like, because it's not all we're supposed to do. Like, if we just do the Yuga Dharma and don't focus on other things, like if we just focus on chanting the holy name, like in kirtan, and we neglect our japa, or if we don't read, or if we're not trained properly, like I see some programs that only have focused on doing Sankirtan, but then they don't get like the training and of the etiquette of the culture, like Vaishnava culture. They don't thoroughly understand, they don't get a nice training on the scriptures. So trying to understand that, like how we have to have all the other things, but also the Yuga Dharma still has the ultimate significance.
We talked a little bit about this yesterday. It's a very good question. How, if the Yuga Dharma is the main thing, then how do all these accessory practices or, adjunct practices, what is the relevance? Because some people chant Sankirtan very nicely, but they never read. That's a very common problem. Even Srila Prabhupada used to complain about this in the 1970s. And frankly speaking, I'm seeing that it's worse now than it's ever been. Somebody took a survey this year at the annual GBC meetings and asked all of ISKCON's leaders, how many of you have read all of Srila Prabhupada's books? And only 20% of them had done so. So you can understand the problem, the magnitude of this problem. So I mentioned this also indirectly yesterday with regards to Varnashram concerns, because they all go together. You really cannot chant offenselessly unless you're following the whole process, and these processes are given in our books. You have to do deity worship, you have to follow Vaishnava etiquette, you have to, all the things, all the rules and regulations, they go together. They're all meant for the benefit of our chanting, but we don't depend exclusively on the other things, you see. The Yuga Dharma means that the chanting will be pradhan. It will be the main thing that we're doing. And the other practices that we follow, traditional practices, we call this shishtachara or sadachara, traditional standards and conventions that we've received from our acharyas. These things are understood to help us in that ultimate endeavor of chanting purely the holy name. If we try to chant the holy name without these things, we probably won't succeed. And if we try to practice these things without the holy name, we definitely won't succeed, you see. So the holy name is the main thing, but these things are very helpful because Dharma is never unproductive. Does that help somewhat? The important thing is that we don't depend on anything else exclusively. We depend on the holy name, but not exclusively. Is that clear? Why does Prabhupada ask us to do Varnashram? Why does he ask us to do deity worship? Why does he ask us to, wear dhotis and tilak? These things are enjoined in the Shastra, and they always benefit us in subtle ways. But the main thing that's going to carry those endeavors is the chanting of the holy name. Without the holy name, those things are going to be a useless waste of time. This is the point. Shrama eva hi kevalam. Okay? Yeah.
Thinking practically, I guess, maybe not like as a time thing, like the majority of our time should be doing Harinam, Sankirtan, but maybe like making sure that we are doing it, but not like all the time or like exclusively.
Well, yeah, I can see your point. I don't know if you can really reduce it to a chronological paradigm or a time-based paradigm, because it's like saying, okay, well, the main thing is chanting the holy name. So, much of the time I'm going to be a vegetarian, but not all the time. You see? I don't know if it really works that way. There are, sadachar in particular is a thing that's understood to be comprehensive enough that it subsumes our every waking moment. This is the point. It's a mode of existence more than a specific activity. That's maybe a better way to put it. And this lifestyle or this mode of existence is what gradually purifies us on the mundane level, whereas the holy name is purifying us inside at a heart level, at a very deep level. You see, that's another helpful way to put it. Look at it this way. In Bhagavad Gita in chapter 16, when Krishna is mentioning all of the divine and demoniac qualities, the divine qualities that he mentions are Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi. Now, the first thing is fearlessness, because you can't do anything if you're freaked out. So that's important. But Sattva Samshuddhi, what does Sattva Samshuddhi mean? Sattva Samshuddhi. We know the word sattva, and we know the word sam means completely. What about shuddhi? Shuddhi means purity, like shuddha. So samshuddhi means complete purification of one's existence. In this sense, sattva doesn't refer to sattva guna, it refers to existence. Sat means existence, and twa means like the English suffix N-E-S-S. Good, existence-ness or something like that. Beingness. Existence is what it means. So purification of our existence is one of the divine qualities. But what is that purification of our existence? That is what is effected through shishtachara, practicing a dharmic lifestyle. It purifies our existence. It purifies our body. It purifies our mind. It purifies our activities. It purifies our whole life. And when our life is pure, Krishna says in chapter 7, text 28, then we can commit ourselves to pure devotional service. Yesham dvandagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvanvamoha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrataha. Because that purifies our subtle body of all the residue of so many sinful activities in the past, so many memories of sense gratification in the past, and only those things agitate our minds to perform the same activities again. So purification of our existence means purification of our material existence, purification of the way that we eat, sleep, mate, and defend. It's a lifestyle. It's not a percentage of our activity. You see my point? It's a mode of existence. It's a status, really. It's what we are in the material world. That has to be purified. When that happens, then there's much, much less obstruction to the process of chanting the holy name, and all the corollary practices that we're discussing, like deity worship and yajna and varnashram and so many other things, they become so easy because we have become pious. This is the need. We have to purify ourselves. It's true that chanting the holy name will do that, but it's, if you can do it deliberately and immediately, why not? This is the point. So Prabhupada instructed like that. Is that clear? Okay. Anything else? Yeah. I think it's not on because I can't hear you.
For Vikukshi to have corrected his error, had he, become aware of it prior to delivering the requested bodies, would he have had to discard that and then proceed with hunting again to get the appropriate, I guess the terminology was pure flesh for the sacrifice?
That's the vidhi, yeah. It has to be untouched. In order to me, what we discussed yesterday is medhyam, suitable for offering in a sacrifice. It has to be, you can't offer something. Srila Prabhupada mentioned also in his purport, if someone eats something meant to be offered to the deity before it's offered to the deity, you can't offer any of the rest of it. You cook one vegetable preparation, somebody takes even one spoonful, the whole thing is unfit to be offered. That's the standard. Is that clear? Okay.
Question at home when we worship deities, so many times that happen that all like I am really confused that I think, okay,
bring the microphone closer to you.
Okay, yeah. I think that first let me finish my chanting. So if I try to sit and I am trying to finish few rounds, then my daughter leaves for a school by 7:30. So I try to cook like the earliest, but it happens many times I am not able to offer, but I have to give her because she...
Oh. Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
Yeah, that happens many times.
Yeah, that has to be fixed because that's not good. Either the schedule, you can't change her schedule because the school is what it is. Somehow or other, it seems you have to start early enough, or somehow or other cook something that takes less time or something. Because if somebody takes something away and for the purpose of eating, then it does also spoils it. That's not good. People do that sometimes, I know, but it's not good to do that. Okay.
It is an offense, huh?
It will be sevaparad. If the deity is installed,
No, our deities are not installed, but we have been worshipping them now for past 15 years.
Yeah, so, if you're worshipping Krishna and offering Krishna, then he kind of expects, But, that's not the Pakka standard. It should come up to the Vidhi standard, like in the temple. No one should eat something before it's offered. That's the point. Okay? All right. I think we can stop now. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.